Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. Michael, we got a special guest today, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We sure do. What's happening?
Yes, today we have none other than Swickie. If you guys don't know Swickie, you're about to. She literally does pretty much everything there is to possibly do in the NFT space. She's an artist. She's a flipper. She's an investor. She's a brand builder. Pretty much does everything. And so we're super excited to bring her on the show and ask her a bunch of questions. So Swickie, welcome.
Hey, it's super great to be here. I'm so happy to be on. I've listened to this podcast before and it's one of my favorites.
Hey, yes. And as a background note, Swickie and I are friends in real life, although we started out as just internet friends. So all from the NFT space.
We know, because every time there's an event, you talk about Swickie had this party and this yacht and this VIP table. That's all we get after NYC and Miami.
Yeah, I know.
It's great. Yep.
Swickie and Peter are my bougiest friends.
Well, we didn't exactly go on like the bougiest yacht that Jen and Steph got to go on, but
wow. Okay, well, you know what? Okay, let's start. Let's take things back for a bit. Let's start this off by having you take us through the beginning of your NFT journey. How did this whole thing start for you?
This all started with Top Shot, as many people will tell you. The gateway NFT for most people. So it was just like a boring, pandemic day in March of 2021. I think it was March or April. And my friend, 5 minutes before the pack drop for the rare all-star pack 2021, he's like messaging me just frantically like, hey, are you going to join the queue? And I'm like, I don't even know what this means. Like I had created, an account right before that. And so I hopped in and I just like happened to get a really good queue number in line. And so once I hit that pack, I got like a really slow serial Bradley Beal. And then I was like, wow, that was easy. Like how they hook you. And I was like, this is pretty great because it just took no effort at all. And here I am with this like low serial Bradley Beal and, landed this rare all-star pack. And come to find out, landing rare packs is not that frequent. And low serials is not that frequent, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And then when I joined Twitter, I just kind of found this like iceberg. It was like all these people who were just like really actively engaging in the Top Shot community. And that really was just it for me. Like I didn't really look back ever since. So,
wow. And
you really grew your Top Shot collection like pretty quickly too. Like I remember you had like all the Lakers moments, and you probably, I don't know if you're still holding on to a bunch of moments. I think you are, right? You're just like holding on.
Yeah.
All your stuff.
Well, it did take time. Like at first I was like, I didn't even have like ETH coming into this. Yeah. Like I just basically was on Top Shot with my card and I wasn't really buying a lot of stuff. I was just basically making sure to be on every pack drop. Okay. So any pack drop that I was eligible for, I just would do. And at the time we were like right before that moment where like getting pack drops was really not, I guess, how would you say this? You really can't make money off of like the $9 packs now. Back then, you could probably like double your money, you know?
Right.
So I did some trading, was like learning from Girl Dad, learning from Laborde James. You know, I got invited to Laborde's Top Shot Seals Discord. And I feel like that's really where like the magic of Top Shot and NFTs happened for me, because I wasn't just on Twitter, but I was like in this little bubble of people who like really understood Top Shot strategy and would be like talking to people from Top Shot, as well as like, you know, just other people around that really had good ideas about how to collect. And I was like, had no idea. I'd never collected a thing in my life, like literally nothing.
Literally nothing. Really? There's not like a single thing you've ever like nothing?
Like rocks when I was little, but like I literally did not collect one single thing. Like a lot of people were doing like Pokemon, you know, baseball cards. My cousins were like obsessed, but I didn't have any of that. So it was a whole new area for me.
Well, that's cool. So you joined a Discord that you felt like you connected with the people and you're able to kind of have more of like, it was more like an intimate setting. Like, you know, the whole Top Shot Discord is just crazy. Seeing everyone in there, it's hard to have genuine conversations, especially with repeat people. And I think that was a really popular thing too. I mean, I don't know, you joined like a year ago, I think. Just everyone at first was just in the Top Shot Discord. Then everyone started branching out and making their own little side Discords where you can have a smaller group and just more meaningful connections. And then it was like, oh, what group are you in? Like you're trying to join the different Discords. So then you bought your Bored Ape Kiki 9 months ago in May for 0.7 ETH, which now I'm thinking, you know, was this part of, now I want to know like how you found out about this. But anyway, how did you find out about Bored Apes, and you know what drew you to buy your ape that early on? I mean, you didn't mint one; you bought one on the secondary market, and you've been holding on to it. Oh, you did mint one. Okay,
yeah,
you minted one, and then you bought Kiki, and then you've been holding on to Kiki this entire time, and haven't sold it. Tell us about that whole journey and process.
So while I was in Top Shot's Discord, and by the way, just really quickly to go back, like I actually didn't finish my Cool Cats 9 Live set or my Lakers set until like maybe 5 months ago. Okay. And all of that was because I basically like sold my art and did other trades to get to that, right? So I didn't start out with sets, which I know some people come like guns blazing, like, you know, finishing sets, but it really took me a long time to build those. But in that Discord where I was, I found out about Zedrun. And so the first NFT that I had after Top Shot was a Zed horse. And I raced my horse. I realized it was just like some cheap starter horse. Doofy sold it to me. And he's like, his story is absolutely insane too. But so then while I'm in there, I'm talking to the Zedrun guys, I'm talking to the Top Shot guys, and then they're like talking about BAYC. Well, didn't interest me. I was like not having it. I was not going to spend $250 on a picture of a monkey.
Rip off, total rip off.
I wasn't going to do that. And so I went out of town and I was about to go to sleep. It was like Saturday night, I think. And Laborde James is like frantically messaging me and he's like, get out of bed. Like this is going to mint out. And I'm like, why should I buy this? He's like, just trust me. Like if there's nothing else that you listen to, just get out of bed and like just mint one. So I'm like, okay, literally in the dark in my room. So I get up and I'm on mobile MetaMask and it's like awful because it doesn't work. And I'm like back up home up north where there's like barely any reception.
Oh my God.
So I minted one ape and then I saw the Discord chat just like go off. The Top Shot seals are talking like, they're like counting down. It's like that one moment where they're like, there's 2,000 left. There's 1,000 left. There's 500 left. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get another one then. So I put a transaction through to get another one and it fails. So I only have one. And I don't know what it was about that particular moment, but the next day they had announced that BAYC was going to do a clubhouse. And it must have been Saturday night because Sunday I was driving to the airport. So I got up early to catch my flight. And on the way to the airport, listened to the Clubhouse, and just listening to them, I just knew that there was something totally different.
Is that like everybody was like making monkey sounds and like, was it that
no,
guy?
actually,
Okay. I remember those Clubhouses, but no, okay.
No, this one was with the creators of BAYC.
Okay.
So this was like, they couldn't believe they minted out. They were just like in such shock. They were talking about the art. They were talking about what plans they had. Very thoughtful, very shocked. But also there was something about them that felt genuine to me. And like, you know, they really wanted to do good by the people that just made them all this money. So for me, like I recognized something in them that I just thought that had longevity. And so I paid more attention to that project more than any other NFT that I had at that point.
Nice.
Wow. And man, I wonder why LeBoard James had so much conviction. By the way, is a mutual friend. He actually had an honorary Bored Ape, and he sold it for a solid amount, which obviously then they ended up going for even more. But I remember when he was rocking his honorary for a while. But anyway, why did he have so much conviction? Why did he be like, get out of bed, you need to mint this now? Like,
I don't know. I mean, like,
really excited.
I know that they had been trying to mint out the project. They were like giving some away for free. And for whatever reason, you know what it was? I think it was someone like Pranksy had bought a bunch. And it just like set off like wildfire. They were like, you got to do this now or you're not going to have it. And so, you know, with those Discord groups, it just kind of becomes this like fever pitch of like, buy it now, you know? So, but I'm really grateful to him because, you know, he's brought me along on like a lot of his NFT journeys and things that I didn't particularly know about because I was so new that there was no way for me to know it. So
dang. Okay. So then, you know, really Top Shot was your first. It was, you know, a flow-based project. Then Zed Run, which is Ethereum, but it's a little more like there's utility to it, which I think people really enjoyed. And then you mint the Bored Apes. And then were you getting into other projects as well? Like, were there other stuff that you were like into, or were you just like kind of focusing on like your art and you know, Top Shot and Zed?
Maybe a month after, or maybe a couple weeks after I minted that ape. But I like didn't even have Ethereum in my wallet, so that like I did because I bought some that night to mint the ape. But for Kiki, who is 0.7, like I had been talking to Franklin because I was like super in Ghosts Discord all the time, trying to land like the ninja drops. And so, you know, I had made friends with a lot of people. And of course, we all know that Franklin has 37 apes.
Not 36, guys, 37. Okay.
37.
Right.
I don't know how many he had at the time, but he was like, I have some if you want to look through them. And I knew about Punk's comic. I knew that they were coming up. I knew that there was going to be a bracket and a contest. And so I was like, you know, it'd be really cool. Everybody has apes that they identify with or, you know, like, you know, love so much and want to create things with. And mine that I minted was like a commie blindfolded male ape who I probably couldn't have done much with, you know? So as I'm looking through Franklin's huge arsenal of apes, I find Kiki and I just knew that she was the one for me. So it was like 3 a.m. I run downstairs to Peter and I'm like, hear me out. Cause like 0.3 at the time, just having gotten into NFTs and he wasn't even in NFTs at all. So he would basically have to send me like his ETH and I would have to like pay him back. And
but he said yes, right? Obviously
he did. After like we definitely talked about it for a while because I don't think he was really like he wasn't in it enough where he like understood like what does this Punk's comic contest mean, you know? Once I bought her, I just was like, all right, like no holds bar, like I'm going full throttle into everything. And she won her brackets. And I think a huge part of the reason why she won those brackets was because I was already kind of ingrained in all of these different NFT discords. Which, by the way, if I didn't have those friends, like it would have never happened because, you know, a lot of the people that I ran against were like much more popular. I mean, I beat out Zeneca before he was like Zeneca, you know? And so there's just no way. Yeah. So it was like back then, like I just was like, well, a lot of things are against me. I'm a girl, it's a female ape. Like there's just a lot of stuff going on that I didn't really think would overcome. And it did because a lot of the different communities that I was a part of. So that was cool.
That's crazy. And to the listeners that are like, what are elite apes and all that, the punk comics, if you've ever heard of it, there's like 9 elite apes, and they had these contests running with like different apes, and you can enter your ape, and then it's like there was like several different brackets and contests. It was a whole thing, it was a whole ordeal, and people had to vote, and like it was this whole big thing. And now, and I didn't even know that you bought Kiki with the intention of having her be like an elite ape, and that's actually crazy because you literally like you made that happen for yourself, and that's just like that's amazing. That's insane.
Yeah, it's like coming from a brand, because in real life I have a branding background, so it was like almost a game to me. Like, oh, am I really that good at branding? Like, let's see how good at it you are, you know. Where I was like, let's buy this ape and let's see if you can get her into this comic. And when it happened, then I was like, oh, like, well, like, why stop here? Like the IP, you know, this is like the first successful instance of NFT licensing completed. Like we've been paid. So now like any royalties from the covers of the coins that come our way is just extra, you know? So we've completed our whole cycle together. And that really hasn't, I'm trying to think, I don't think that's happened to any other NFT. And so for me, like, that's just like a historical moment that nobody could take that away from us, you know? And I'm so happy that we did it with Punk's comic because I'm a huge, huge believer in Pixel Vault. Aside from BAYC, I think they're the people that I'm just like down with the most. Like I will believe in most of the things that they come out with because they just really know what they're doing. So
that's awesome. And I really want to dive into, okay, you started building a whole brand with Kiki. There's all these different things you started doing. I want to dive into that. But first, can you tell us a little bit about like the whole Punk comic? Like I know they came out with tokens, like for those of our listeners that are maybe like, you know, this is our first time hearing about that. What information could you give us?
Yeah, so they wanted to be fair and equitable in how they distributed. Well, let me go backwards. There's issue 1, which is just their regular Punks comics. There's issue 2, which features the elite apes. And in addition to issue 2, just regular cover, all of the elite apes, all 8 of them, have their own special edition. So they didn't want to have a gas war. They didn't want to have, you know, people stepping all over the place. So they created a coin system that they thought was fair and equitable, and basically use like a chain link system to kind of give everybody slots of time and randomly generate their place in line. So that way, all of the comic special edition covers that got bought were not being bought up 50, 100 at a time by like bots or by, you know, investors who just have that amount of money. And so the unique holders on those covers is pretty crazy. I think it's like 92%, which is really super high for an NFT. So they decided to do that route. And so now those people there's 750 each special edition. And now I feel like I've gained like 750 new friends that are like, you know, when that. And we've all done like really special things for them, like giveaways and this and that, just for like, you know, being there and supporting us. And, you know, there's lots of things in the work for that, but Pixel Vault definitely laid out a plan so that everyone would have a fair shot.
That's amazing. And I am a proud Kiki token holder.
Yes, you are.
So let's go.
How do we find that collection again on OpenSea? What's that called?
Oh boy. So I would have to pull it up. It's called Punks 2 Kiki Collector's Edition, but let me put it here in the chat.
And there's 750 items.
Oh, each person has their own collection. Wow. Okay, I see.
Yes.
Yep, I'm with you.
Right. It's not in the ERC 1155 where it's just like one and then
Yeah.
Yeah, probably for royalty purposes, they had to kind of split them apart like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Okay. Yep.
yeah. So we each got like our own number one cover, which I was so excited about.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought for sure that they would go straight into the Pixel vault, but they allowed us to have one.
Let's go. Now you're probably going to keep that thing forever because you're like,
I am. It's so attached to it.
Yeah.
That's pretty special. Yeah, for sure. Congratulations on that. It's great work. Seeing that and going for it and having the foresight. And it's pretty quick after you got into NFTs. You moved quick and got into some really good things.
It happened really quickly, and a lot of nights I questioned my sanity, like, what am I doing? Lots of sleepless nights, like the money that I'm pouring into this, like, is it going to be worth it? But it really helped to do art on top of it, because then it was just like money generated that is not coming from my savings or my checking account. It's like just recycled ETH, so.
Yes. So then besides the Elite Ape, having Kiki be an Elite Ape, you started doing all these other things with Kiki. She's on like murals all like in Hong Kong and like in LA.
Lots of clothing lines. Like I've seen
your merch. You have merch line. Like you have a lot of things going on with Kiki. You wrote a whole building your brand around your NFT article for us at Evaluate Market. And I loved reading that. You wrote that like months ago for us, but you started just going full force with it and just doing all of these things. Why did you decide that you wanted to build a brand around your NFT?
So at first it was kind of like just random opportunities that were coming my way. And I think I talked about this a little bit in the article, where I was at first a little bit possessive, like, well, why should these people get to use, the image of my ape if they're not necessarily like paying me the IP licensing for it? And this was before Punk's comic was even released, or we were just like in the very beginning, early stages. But then as I thought about it more and kind of saw these opportunities coming my way, I'm like, this is just like not the Web3 way of thinking. Like, I have it on the blockchain. Like, I know I'm the owner of this IP. Like, I should be using it to its full potential. And so one of the apes came to me and said, hey, we're putting up 9 apes in the Hong Kong harbor. It's this promenade with the Ferris wheel. It's like a very prominent landmark. So I said yes. And their display was absolutely gorgeous, actually. They framed the apes so beautifully against the backdrop of Hong Kong. And this whole festival happened. And there were people from Asia like writing to me on Twitter, like, hey, an IG, I saw your ape. And they were like sending me videos and pictures. And so it was a really cool way to connect with people just across the world and really like get to know them. And they were like, what are NFTs? What is BAYC? And so through that, I feel like I really got to connect and give like a little lowdown on what NFTs were to Asia, which had not really fully come into the market yet. So that was exciting, as well as the fact that it just so happened to be when Christie's auction popped up and was selling or auctioning off the BAYC. So just really fortunate timing wise to have been there at that time, because I feel like that moment was really special for BAYC. It kicked off a lot of historic moments, as well as rose our floor.
Let's go, pump it up.
And got some visibility in the media world. I mean, at that point, that's around the time that Steph Curry came in, around the time that, celebrities started kind of like noticing. And it's still strange to me that this like $250 NFT has risen to this point. It's just odd. Like, I don't ever consider it that, but that's what it is now. It's kind of a symbol, so.
From 0.08 to 100 ETH floor. That's just, what kind of X is that? I don't know. Can we do the math? That's more than
120.
Like, yeah,
120X or something. Like, sheesh, that's just that. Yeah, that's insane. That is absolutely insane.
Yep.
And I kept everything.
You kept so did you keep your ape that you minted too? Or you sold that one?
I traded Peter that ape, and then he traded that ape for an ape that he liked. So that one's gone. Okay. But I have Kiki's dog. I have her serum still. I have, all of the airdrops that BAYC has given us. I've never sold them. I just have them. Yeah.
Dang. So do you ever think about, like, I always ask Michael this, I'm like, do you ever think about selling your ape? He's like, no, it's a piece of our podcast. I'm like, come on.
I've thought about it. That's what I sell everything. You guys know that. It's actually about 30 ETH off its high right now. It's down to 84, and ETH is down to 1,500.
1,500.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Like,
it's under 20. It feels like it. It's under 25.
We're gonna have to be homeless.
I'm just joking. It's awful. It's awful. Yeah.
So it's a little bloody out there in the streets right now, but it's okay.
Yeah. You can tell they be getting in fights out there.
Right.
24.38. Oh, because there's been news. It's Wednesday evening. There's news of Russia invading Ukraine. Not to get into anything like that, but that's happening. Like as we speak, that's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay.
We'll move on.
So anyway, moving on.
Now that we're going into World War with our JPEG.
Right, exactly.
Guys, our life is only JPEGs, okay? It's just a metaverse. Don't worry, real life stuff doesn't actually happen, okay? All about NFTs.
Let's just put our Oculus on and
let's put our NFT color glasses on, and that is it. Okay, so let's get into Spacedust HQ. What is Spacedust HQ?
Spacedust HQ is an art collective that I formed with both gentlemen that helped me out with Kiki. So Kiki Merch. D. Calvero, he is the former co-founder of Crooks and Castles, streetwear brand, paved the way for many to come after him. He was part of the whole Fairfax streetwear, clique that came up in the streets together type thing. His story is pretty incredible. He was a kid in El Cerritos who just had an internship in music and then stumbled upon a fashion designer in the hallway and kind of like just went straight into fashion. And he's sold and bought back his business many times and has just been a proven track record of like an incredible businessman in the fashion world. And I met him at a wedding in Cabo and he was under the influence of not just alcohol.
Drugs.
He kept talking to me about the astral plane. And just like the stuff that he was saying at the time, something inside of me clicked where I was like, I know for a fact that someday I'm going to work with this guy. Like, I just had it in my mind. Like, there was like something about him and the way that he was just like talking to me and he was like saying all these random things that made sense to me that I was like, okay, this is one to kind of just like pin, so I pinned it. And
pinned it in your brain.
I pinned it in my brain. Like, I don't know what it was. And I couldn't have told you at the time, like in what capacity or whatever that we would run into each other again. But I just knew, like, it was so strange. So then when we were putting Ape Collective together, which was the very first BAYC meetup in LA, we wanted to get some merch done. So of course, naturally I thought of him. But Crunch, who is the head of Ape, he was already in contact with Bobby Hundreds. So obviously that partnership didn't quite work out because they went straight to the head of BAYC and did the collab with them. But, he was like in the back of my mind for this. And so there wasn't enough time to really work with him for Ape Collective. But then he just randomly was like, what about Kiki? I was like, yes, like, of course I want to do that. So we sat down and kind of talked it through. And the thing that I loved about him so much is that he was willing to work with individual apes versus like go straight to creator brand. Like, we've seen that already. Like, he's done the brand thing. He's done the big like merchandising thing, But for my own purposes, I was really interested in like, how far could we push this IP? Like, well, we have all of the rights, so we might as well put her face on everything that we can. So that's kind of how that happened. And honestly, the creative process with him was so cool. Like, I just, first of all, never in my life thought that I'd be creating a fashion brand, streetwear brand ever. And he and I just work so naturally together, and we have the same aesthetic, and he's just like so brilliant at what he does. So then he introduced me to Rich Uno, who in his own right is also like this streetwear giant. He did Creative Rec. He does all these crazy things. He's the co-founder of this graffiti crew called NASA Crew, which has been around for like 30 years. Wow. Like, every time we go to his spots, there's like kids coming by, like getting his autograph. There's like dudes driving by, hey, Rich Uno. And I'm just like, who are you? You know, so he's just like an enigma. Like, I'm like still trying to figure him out. He's kind of like a mysterious guy, but he's so incredibly talented. And he decided that for his portion of our collab, we were going to make this giant ass mural. And when I say giant, I mean like you could see it like 4 blocks away.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he and his NASA crew got together. I was allowed to like paint her hair or something. And so we were just like a really natural team. And so, you know, Peter's also part of our team. He does a lot of business development side of things. But as soon as we like get in a room and start like smoking weed and like start going down our rabbit holes, we realize we have so much in common. Yeah, Roy's bok choy. And we just have a lot of ideas on how to bring NFT into real life. So we did merchandising, you know, we did the Kiki mural. Ghosts approached us before I even announced that I had a collective, and he was interested in doing the same type of thing with, you know, that we did for Kiki for Ghosts. Mm-hmm. So then I ended up doing a collab with him, with my team. And, you know, there's like Ding's demon hanging out on Melrose right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So a lot of these things are like things that you could feel, see, touch. We have like a big slate of stuff coming up ahead that I can't quite say what, but it's all things for the community that they can come to and really like get like an immersive experience with.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Immersive experience. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let Michael ask another question because I feel like I just have a million questions.
That's all good. No, you guys are having fun. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I was doing my due diligence and going over your socials and your website, and I saw your photography. Well, the ones I saw were the ones from Mont Saint Michel. I think I'm pronouncing that.
Mont Saint Michel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of closely. Do you like to travel a lot? I know it's in France. It's a famous,
I've only been to Europe once.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not like a huge international traveler, mostly because I feel like I was working so much during my college years that I was like, I had multiple jobs and going to college. So any traveling that I've done while I've been married, because that's really like, you know, grounded me in a way where like, you know, we could travel. So, but you know, my first collection, which was the California Chronicles, that one was mostly people that I met or places in California that I went to just to like take pictures of myself. Like I work with medium format film, so 120 film and 35 millimeter. I also do digital, but it's kind of wild to see these like as NFTs because I just really never showed them to anybody before, except for like my close friends and family. And so for them to kind of just like be out there is like really scary.
No, these are beautiful. These two that I looked at are beautiful. And I did see the California ones on your website. Where do people find those if they want to go look for the?
Let me grab that collection for you.
Yep.
My California Chronicles, my first collection is sold out. I think my second one is too. Actually, I think most of my collections are sold out except for 2 of them. But like they're available on secondary. And it was just like a really big day for me when the floor for this first collection was 1.1.
Oh, wow.
I just couldn't believe it. I cried.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you guys can find everything, like Swickie has pretty much everything linked on swickie.io on her website. So you can like pretty much find everything from there, right? I'm
I also have a link tree. I had to make one because it was just like getting to be a lot.
A link tree, you need a Yacht.
I have a Yacht. I don't use it.
It's literally the same thing as Linktree, but it's just that it's ETH. It's just an ETH thing.
Just already have it. I don't know.
Fair enough.
So yeah, and I've done the Moonbeams, but I have like other visual art collections, Infinite Bloom. The Interrupted is more like glitch art series. So I just have been like really anything that I want to take a chance doing, like I've just done it because
that's awesome.
Why not? Like, why not?
Right. Yeah, you're very creative. Like, I don't know how you even come up with all these different, it's like you have and all the collections are very different too. It's like I have Moonbeams from you, and I thought that was one of your first collections. I guess it wasn't.
It is. It's the very first one. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. There we go. And and I remember you saying like that the Moonbeams were like you like have like these lucid dreams, and they're like inspired by the dream that you had like the night before or something crazy.
Yeah, I've had a lot of lucid dreams. I've been like an insomniac / lucid dreamer my entire life, like even when I was really little. I remember like waking up when I was 7 years old and like having to ask myself, like, did I really just go somewhere or was I dreaming? And so I'm the kid, my mom would like walk into my bedroom at 3 a.m. and be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like full blown playing like with my dollhouse or like whatever. So I just was like always like that really like imaginative kid. And it all started, I had this just really crazy dream. And every time I lucid dream, I kind of have like the same entry point to this dream, which is like this big dark black box room with like one window. And then there's hallways, and all these hallways lead to different areas and things. So I go down this hallway, and then all of a sudden I open the door and I'm in space. And the transport is always different. Like sometimes I fly, sometimes there's an elevator, sometimes I'm taken in a car. It just depends. But I think I don't remember which Moonbeam you have. I think you have number 9. But that one was crazy because I was flying through the air towards that particular like ball of fire. And I remember all these voices like passing me by. And then suddenly I heard my grandpa speaking. And my grandpa had, passed away 2 years before. And he was like on a telephone line. And I like, don't remember what he said at this point in my life. I wrote it down somewhere, but he was like explaining all this stuff to me. And I just was like, I could feel like the air of the flying and like the voices and the things that were like passing me by. And so that was just a moment where I was like, well, if I'm going to start making art, like I might as well start with something that I really super felt, so that if I can translate it in my art, like other people can too. And by far, it's like my most popular collection.
The Moonbeams. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're super. And by the way, I have number 10 and 13. I just checked.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe Steph has number 9 or something. I know she has a couple as well. She loves galaxies.
Yeah.
So.
She does. Yeah.
You're very, like I said, you're very creative. There's so much, I feel like you just have, I don't know, you're a super fascinating person. And it's just like, it's kind of insane, like all that you've been doing in this space, and even like working full time too during all this, right?
I was, yep. Up until 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, I quit my job. Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
It was hard.
Like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was just hard.
Was it up until the Elite Eight money?
Yeah. Was it financially harder? I feel like you were just kind of, it was just taking that leap of faith, right? That was like the hard part. I mean, that's usually what it is. It's like mentally, you're just like, it's like, I don't
definitely
know.
Mentally like preparing myself to not have that steady paycheck and like all the benefits of having like a normal thing coming your way. You know, it was hard because I don't know, I've worked my whole life since I was 14 years old. Like there's never been a time where I didn't work for myself. And so to put all my eggs in one basket into like ETH and NFT is just a really big gamble for me, you know? So, and I wouldn't even say it was because of the Pixel Vault money, because I actually like didn't believe that I was going to get it until I actually saw it hit my account.
You're like, they're going to rug us.
There's just something about inside of me that's like, you can never, you know, put your full faith into it until you like see it happen, you know? So, so it was 2 weeks before the comic drop. And, I think really what did it for me were the opportunities that were coming my way for like being on CoinDesk with Josh Ong and Justin Aversano, Brittany Pierre and Drifter Shoots. And then me, like, that was like insane to me. And I'm like, well, I think this means that I'm starting to kind of like, you know, jump a level that I need to maintain and then kind of grow with instead of just shying away like maybe I typically would. And I don't regret it at all. Like, I just wonder why I didn't do it sooner.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, it's always scary, like doing something new and like quitting your job, your secure job, like to be Web3 full time and work for yourself and stuff. Is there any advice you would give to maybe like a new artist starting out that, you know, it's like they're really looking to make their way in the NFT space, but they, you know, they don't have a lot of traction and they don't have like that a big of a following? What advice would you give to like a new emerging artist in the space?
I would say that there are like 3 really crucial things. One is to create without having in mind what other people want, you know, really diving into your own creativity and not making stuff for other people, but just like sticking true to your voice, your message, your art. The second thing is you do have to put time into this. It's not going to come easily, you know, just to sell right away. Being part of different communities, being really entrenched in everything, collecting yourself if you can is a big part of it, because then you're forming bonds with a lot of people. Of course, don't be disingenuous and do that just to do it. But I'm saying that these are the bonds that you'll create and really have other communities start to recognize you and trust you enough to buy your art. And the third thing is to just any opportunity that comes your way, say yes. I know a lot of people are like, you shouldn't say yes to everything, but at first you should, because, you know, you're building something. This is not something that's just going to happen to you overnight. Even for me, I mean, I've been here 1 year. I started making art in May. And even just now, like I'm starting to become recognized for certain things, but not all. So, you know, it's just putting a lot of time and effort into it and being genuine.
Yeah. I love that. That's so true. And yeah, genuine connections is like, you don't even realize how far like making connections can get you. Like you kind of like, it's kind of actually crazy. It's just like you're being friendly with someone and the next thing you know, it's like, you know, all of a sudden there's this opportunity thrown your way because you're like friendly with a certain person. And it's just, yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. And I think that's why they say your network is your net worth, right? Because it's like,
yeah,
you know, you have more potential if you have more connections.
Absolutely. If you're on somebody's radar, you know, that means everything. I mean, you can't really do that without really forming these bonds and friendships that we have here. So,
yeah. And what about being anonymous versus putting yourself out there? Do you think that has given you a bit of an advantage because it's kind of there's not that many people that have themselves out there, and so maybe you stand out even more? I mean, obviously your profile picture has been Kiki for the longest time, but I know like you'll post photos that you're in, and you're not like an anonymous person, like you're public. You go to events, everyone knows who you are, all that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, I didn't expect to be, in this place where like I'm doxxed or not doxxed. Like I didn't really think twice about it because, even when like Peter came into this space, he was like, should I create an entirely different account? And I was like, nobody pays attention to me. You're fine. Because
he has his first and last name, just like,
yeah. And then I went on ladies' night and that kind of changed everything for us, to be honest with you. I mean, being on that stream really just like gave so much exposure that we weren't really expecting or knew what to do with. So for me, like I've always been kind of a public person in social media. Like I definitely value my privacy and I never really share like too much private, life stuff, but I'm comfortable being public. And I definitely think that that's an advantage here because, people could put a face to the name. If they want to come for me, they know that they can, but right, somehow
there's a level of comfort with that, right? Because it's like, you buy, I feel like people like to buy from people that they trust and they feel like they know. And if they know what you look like, it's like one step closer to feeling like they know you.
Yeah, like they can find me if they need to, and that doesn't actually scare me. Like I find comfort in that because it's like, well, I know that I'm like living my truest potential in life and not trying to like scam anybody. So for me, like this isn't a scary thing for me. So
yeah, that makes sense. Michael, you got any more questions before we wrap this up?
What other projects you into? You talked about Pixel Vault, Punk's Comic. You talked about Bored Ape, obviously. Is there anything else? Jennifer called you kind of a flipper early on. I wanted to see what you're into, maybe what you're into now. How many invisible friends did you buy at 12 each today?
Well, apparently I missed a whitelist, so boo on me. But I bought into stuff kind of early. So like House of Kiba, I bought in early.
Nice. Did you mint a Genesis pass?
I did, yes.
So did I. Yep.
Yeah. So it was like May something. I actually like wrote to Kiba on IG and was like, hey, like tell me more about this. And so we kind of struck up a friendship and that's how I decided to mint. But that's like, so cool. Their metaverse stuff was like far exceeding the other stuff that I was seeing from, projects. And mainly too, I just really believe in him. I believe in his team. I was early to Cool Cats. I did not mint, but I bought, I think 0.4 or something crazy like that.
Yep.
So basically like as many blue chips as I could. I did flip my Hape, which I don't know if Jen still has her Hape, but
yeah, we don't talk about that.
She's hanging on for dear life.
No, you know what? I had already, but yeah, in hindsight, it's like, yeah, I even knew beforehand that I should have sold pre-reveal. Everyone on the podcast heard me say, I know I should, I can literally make 10 ETH or 80th, 90th, whatever. And that after pre-reveal, it would go 5 or lower. And here it is at what?
2.3.
Yeah. And here I am holding the bag. So let this be a lesson to all of our listeners. Okay.
But all you need,
sell your invisible friend.
Sell pre-reveal. Yeah. Sell your invisible friend pre-reveal. Okay. Not finished.
But really, all you need is like one instance of news to happen with your Hape, and then you're going to be up again. So it's like,
I'm happy holding on to it because I had already decided that. It's just that it's like, well, damn, I could have bought back in for a lot less. Is the type of thing because I did want to hold on to one. Like I did want to kind of see the project through. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So like stuff like that, if I get free airdrops and it's not BAYC, then I'm more open to flipping stuff. I have flipped crypto chicks before like all this terrible news about them, like stealing the IP.
You did good with the crypto chicks.
I know. And I feel terrible now because I'm like looking at it and I'm like, okay, this was all stolen, but how was I to know at the time,
Nah, there's no way.
Yeah.
I have my friends printed several of my NFTs on like a canvas and gave them to me. And one of them is my crypto chick.
And it's super nice looking still, you know?
And it still looks good. Yeah.
So just a lot of those kinds of things. What else have I done? I just kind of like tried to identify early on, like what it is that, you know, might come up. Like I have a crypto Venetian. I have a Gen Zero Virgin Crypto Kitties. I have a gutter dog. I have Dead Fellas, and I have the beatboxes, the art blocks. It's the first VR experience. I think between Peter and I think we have 4 of them. And I still think that one day they're going to come back and be like, you know, a marker in like a technologically historic moment. So those are kind of like the things that I have. And I just, you know, these tubby cats, like they're so cute. So I'm going to buy one.
Did you put like a lot of, because I know you said you started out, you didn't really have any ETH, like, but then you said you didn't like sell any of your Bored Ape stuff. Like, did you just flip a lot of things in order to get more ETH? Like, did you just put in a lot? Like initially, like, have you been just slowly putting in? Like, how are you able to have so many of these, you know, highly valuable NFTs that you have now?
I would say that the biggest way was selling out 2 of my 4 collections that I had dropped in August.
That's right.
Because I had been doing Moonbeams and that was like kind of sustaining me. But I think once I dropped those 4 collections and I sold out of 2 of them, it really gave me the capital to not just like, I didn't save any of that. I just put it right back into NFT, big and small, like mom and pop stuff, as well as like blue chip stuff. I just reinvested because I was like, I want to like, you know, be buying from the community. I want to be doing all these sorts of things. So I did that. And honestly, like my buy-ins for the blue chips were really low that I bought into.
Right. And you just been holding on. So you just diamond hander as well.
I've been diamond handing. Yeah. As much as possible. I'm not a good flipper, to be honest. Like I really, really suck at it. My timing is not good. So anytime I do flip something, I'm like, oh, pat on the back, like, good job.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel the same way, actually. We need to talk about Peter for a second, because Peter is one of my favorite people, as well as you, of course. And you guys are just a power couple. And you've talked about Peter several times, and nobody knows who he is. So first of all, Peter is Swickie's husband, and he's awesome. And you got him into NFTs. So we got to shout out Peter. And also he has this really cool thing going on, NFTBA, which we should talk about.
We should, yeah.
Yes, that's Steph. Steph is like the host of basically these live basketball tournaments where NFT collectors, like you buy in to be able to play. And then it's like you form a team, and then you just like, it's like all these teams play each other, and it's a whole bracket thing. And then there's a whole championship. And I've been to a couple of them. They're really fun to watch. They're like super fun.
Yeah, they're super fun. Yeah, he really jumped in and hit the ground running. I mean, it went from like him thinking that I was just like so weird and like, what am I doing? To him like holding an ape and then creating his own NFT project, or co-founding with Josh and Jasmine. And that's just wild to me. I mean, like it was like from 1 month to the next. So basically at this Ape Collective event, him and Josh were just throwing around ideas, and they started joking around about an NFT tournament, NFTBA. And so it was him, Josh Ong, and they met up with Jasmine Ada, who's a former female pro basketball athlete. And they pretty much created a token and then started putting 3-on-3 teams together. So I believe the first one was in Venice, and it was 8 teams. And not only do we do the bracket tournament, but there's 3-point contest, there's MVP. So what was really cool about that is there was a team, the championship team, and they were so freaking good. I mean, like from the beginning, you were like, okay, these people are going to win, you know? And the MVP, he had never had an NFT before. So he won the 3-point contest. He was a champion. like he would just basically won everything. And so NFTs Anonymous was so generous. He donated his Lakers goats to him.
Nice.
And as soon as he received that in his wallet, he like totally completely joined NFT community.
Oh, wow.
And he's like around, like he's like everywhere on Twitter now. It's so funny to see. But like, we did that. We did one in Miami where, as you know, Rice Boy donated his doodle.
Rice Boy for 2069. Yeah, he donated his doodle when doodles were only worth like 1 or 2 ETH or something. Yeah, I do remember that.
I don't know if that was his only doodle, but I really hope not.
I think he had a couple, didn't he? I feel like he had at that time anyway. I remember him having a couple. I don't know if he sold them now, but
I hope so. But NFTBA has been it's just grown so much. And like the people that, are playing, are coming by to watch, it's gotten so much good energy from people. And there's always people asking when the next one is, which is in March, by the way.
Is it going to be in LA during the LA?
It will be. Yes.
Nice. I'm coming out for that.
Oh, please come out.
I want to come to the event 100%. I'm going to
compete.
Yeah. I don't know about all that, but I'm going to come. I'm going to come to the event 100%. I'm excited about that.
That's good.
I'm excited to please come because
that'll be great.
During the first one, I think maybe like, I don't know, I would say maybe 400 to 500 people came by throughout the day. Yeah. It was really, really cool. And, a lot of stuff has come from it too. Like there's been people who have contacted Peter and Jasmine and Josh, celebrities on the NBA side and all that.
I bet.
And, they want to stick with the community. Like they want this to be like a community thing. And I just really admire that. And, now that I'm here full time, I'm definitely planning on like, donating more time to that cause and that area. So I'm excited.
Nice.
Cool. Love it. Yeah. One of my good buddies, my real life friends, went to the one in Miami and met Jennifer there.
Oh, great.
Mike, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Mike and his friend.
That was that one, like round 21.
Oh, was that
the sports Basel? That was the sports Basel, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sports Basel. That was a little bit different too.
But that was also. Yeah, cool. That was super cool.
Mm.
All right. Well, I don't know if Michael, if you have any. I feel like we've gone through so much already.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot for sure.
Yeah, this has been an amazing episode. Like seriously, this has been really good, and I'm excited for all of the listeners that got to learn from you during that whole thing. And yeah, if you guys want to find more about Swickie, we'll link all of our stuff in the show notes. Hopefully, you all enjoyed this episode, and thank you, Swickie, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you in the next episode. Peace.
Swickie newbie and the pseudos ain't no stopping her. CT and Pre-T, yeah, they bossing up. Got Sarah and Tatiana. If wrap it up, then you know it's almost over. Evaluating markets, got her wallet looking kosher. Swickie ride with Kiki, Spacedust and graffiti. Munch with D. Cavero, yeah, she making it look easy.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.